Hi, and welcome to Unit 8, Chapter 10, video number 2. So today we're going to be graphing these parabolas, given in standard form, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So when you have an equation in standard form like this, the first thing you need to do is start by finding the vertex. Remember, the vertex is your starting point of your parabola. And it is a coordinate in the form of x comma y, but since it's special and it's the vertex, we call it hk. H stands for the x value of the vertex. K stands for the y value of the vertex. And the formula that you use to start to find h is right here. H equals negative b over 2a. A and b come from the coefficients of your variables in standard form. So a is what is in front of x squared. So in this case of number 1, a is equal to 2. And b is equal to 4. So the first thing you want to do is start by finding that h coordinate of the vertex. So we're going to plug it in. H equals negative b over 2a. So negative 4 over 2 times 2. So when I go ahead and simplify this, I get negative 4 over 4, which simplifies to negative 1, which means the h value or the x value of the vertex is negative 1. So to find k, or the y value, you plug h in for the x coordinate of the equation and solve. So we're going to plug it into the equation. So instead of the y, since k is the y value, I'm going to say k equals, and I'm plugging into my equation here, 2 parentheses, negative 1, because x is negative 1, squared, plus 4 times negative 1 minus 3. So then I need to go ahead and simplify. So when I simplify this, I get negative 1 squared is positive 1 times 2 would give me 2. 4 times negative 1 gives me a negative 4. And then I still have this negative 3. So when I add all these together, 2 minus 4 is negative 2 minus 3 gives me negative 5. So k is equal to negative 5. So my vertex is negative 1, negative 5. All right, so I want to go ahead and write that down on the line here. It says the vertex. So my vertex is negative 1, negative 5. Okay, so this question is asking for a couple things. The vertex, the axis symmetry, and if it's a maximum or minimum value. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and plot that vertex. Negative 1, negative 5 would be down here. Now remember, the axis of symmetry, you draw a line through your vertex, and that acts as your reflection, right? It's going to cut a line down through the vertex, and you're going to plot a point, and then the reflection point will be on the other side. So since we know our vertex is here, I can start by plugging in any numbers to the left of the vertex into the equation, or to the right for the x to solve for y. I'm going to just start with 0. So before we had made a t-chart, you could do that again, or you could just plug it in. So to find the y value, when x is 0, I'm going to plug it in. So y equals 2 times 0 squared plus 4 times 0 minus 3. So when we simplify this, 0 squared is 0 times 2 is 0. 4 times 0 is 0. So in this case, y equals negative 3. So when x is 0, y is negative 3. So that point would be right here. So then if I do my reflection point, I can go 1 over from the axis of symmetry. So another 1 over. All right, I'm also going to plug in one more point. I'm going to try to see what I get when I plug in 1 for x. So I get y equals 2 times 1 squared plus 4 times 1 minus 3. So when I simplify, 1 squared is 1 times 2 gives me 2. 4 times 1 is a positive 4 minus 3. So when I simplify all this together, I get 2 plus 4 is 6 minus 3 will give me 3. So when x is 1, y is 3. So that point is right here. And again, I can go ahead and do my reflection point. This is 1, 2 from the axis. So I go 1, 2 from the axis over here. And then I can go ahead and connect those dots. And so when I connect those dots that I have, that's my parabola. Okay, so now I can go ahead and write the equation of my axis of symmetry. Since it cut through the x-axis, it is a vertical line going through the x-axis at -1. So my axis of symmetry is x equals -1. And since my vertex is here at the bottom, it's the lowest point on my parabola, we say it's called a minimum value. All right, why don't you guys go ahead and pause the video, try number 2, and then we'll check and see what you get. Okay, let's go ahead and see how you did. So when I plugged in A is -2, B is -4, and remember I plugged it in to find the h value of the vertex, so h equals -b over 2a. So when I plugged that in, I got -1. And then when I plugged in -1 to the x value to find k, remember is the y value of the vertex, I plugged it in and I also got -1. So when I went to plot it here, I got -1, -1 as my vertex. Then remember, you want to choose a number to the right or to the left of your vertex. So I chose 0. It's the easiest number. And I plugged it in. And so when I plugged in 0, I got the y value is -3. I also drew my axis of symmetry, that line going through your vertex. So once I plugged in that first value of 0, -3, I could also do its reflection point. So since it was 1 away from the axis of symmetry, I can go 1 away on the other side. I did that same thing when I plugged in 1. I got out -9. And since this is 1, 2 from the axis of symmetry, I went 1, 2 to the left and plotted a reflection point. So my axis of symmetry was x equals -1, because remember, it's a vertical line cutting through the x-axis. And since this case, the vertex is at the top of the parabola, since the parabola is going upside down, it's a negative equation. We have y equals -2x squared. Since it goes upside down, it means that I have a maximum value for my vertex. All right, thanks for watching the video.